Do you hear me tonight? Your voice has power, not a whisper, not a faint echo, not a sound that drifts away in the wind. No, your voice carries weight, authority, destiny. Your voice was not given to you by accident. It was given so that you could shape the atmosphere, command your future, and declare who you are and who you will not be. Some of you have been silent for too long, silent in your homes, silent in your marriages, silent on your jobs, silent in your faith, silent when storms have tried to drown you. But let me tell you, silence will suffocate what was meant to live. Silence will bury what was meant to rise. You cannot sit back and expect change if you will not speak change. The very first act of creation was not a hand that built. It was a voice that spoke, "Let there be," and there was. That is the power of voice. Things move when sound is released. Chains break when truth is spoken. Doors open when courage is declared. Mountains shift when faith is heard. But here's the problem. Too many of us lend our voices to fear, to doubt, to negativity. You've been repeating the lies the enemy told you. You've been rehearsing the pain life handed you. You've been echoing the limitations that others placed on you. And the tragedy is, your mouth has been busy building the very prison you're stuck in, but not anymore. Today is the day you reclaim your voice. Today is the day you say, enough is enough. Today is the day you stop speaking defeat and start speaking destiny. Stop speaking pain and start speaking purpose. Stop speaking fear and start speaking faith. You don't need the approval of the crowd. You don't need everybody to clap for you. You don't need everyone to understand you. Use your voice anyway, because somebody is waiting on the sound you release. Somebody is depending on the courage you speak. Somebody's hope is tied to your testimony. Don't you dare let intimidation silence you. Don't you dare let rejection muzzle you. Don't you dare let the weight of your past close your mouth. When life tries to gag you, when the enemy tries to choke your sound, you stand up with boldness and declare, "I will not be silent." Your voice can heal. Your voice can break generational curses. Your voice can call down blessings. Your voice can remind your children who they are. Your voice can speak peace over chaos. Your voice can tell your future, "I am coming." Use it in your prayer closet. Use it in your boardroom. Use it in your relationships. Use it in your community. Speak life when you see death. Speak hope when you see despair. Speak possibility when you see impossibility. Because the truth is this: life and death are hanging in the balance every time you open your mouth. And when you finally choose to use your voice with power, with faith, with authority, there is nothing on earth, nothing in hell, and nothing in your past that can stop what God has already put in motion. So open your mouth, raise your sound, declare your truth, announce your freedom, release your destiny. Because your voice has power. Now use it. Your voice has always been more powerful than you realize. But too often life has convinced you to shrink it, to hush it, to tuck it away as if it was something insignificant. From the very beginning, the world was shaped not by silent thoughts, but by spoken words. Sound has the ability to shift atmospheres, and your sound carries the weight of your identity, your conviction, and your destiny. When you open your mouth with faith, with authority, with boldness, the invisible begins to move, the impossible begins to bend, and the broken begins to mend. That is why silence is so dangerous, because silence can suffocate what was meant to live. If you do not speak your truth, if you do not declare your purpose, if you do not use your voice, the world will never hear the sound that was meant to change it. You cannot afford to let fear rob you of the very tool you were given to build your future. Your voice is more than sound. It is the echo of your spirit. It carries what you believe, what you hope, what you dream, and what you refuse to surrender. Too many have wasted their strength repeating the language of defeat, speaking what they cannot do, what they will never be, what others have said they are not capable of. Every time you agree with those lies, you use your voice to build the walls of your own prison. But when you shift your sound, when you open your mouth and speak possibility instead of limitation, when you declare life over death, faith over fear, and vision over blindness, those walls begin to crack, and your future begins to open. There is a reason storms do not respond to silence, but to command. The winds obey the word, not the whisper of hesitation. The valleys shift when you call out in strength, not when you cower in uncertainty. That is why you must train your voice to rise above doubt, to rise above intimidation, to rise above the noise of negativity. There are forces counting on you to stay quiet, to stay hidden, to stay bound, because they know that if you ever truly release your voice, you will shake the very foundation of everything that tried to bury you. Your voice was not designed for passivity. It was designed for declaration. Speak into your home until peace rests there. Speak over your children until purpose awakens in them. Speak into your business until doors open where there were only walls. Speak into your body until healing begins to stir. Speak into your own soul until confidence replaces insecurity and courage drives out fear. Even when your circumstances do not yet reflect what you are declaring, your voice is planting the seed that will grow into what you believe. Somebody is waiting to hear your sound. Somebody is waiting to be encouraged by your story, to be lifted by your testimony, to be reminded by your courage that they too can rise. Do not let rejection, shame, or intimidation keep your mouth closed, because the very thing you refuse to say might be the key that unlocks freedom for someone else. Your silence may comfort your fear, but it denies your destiny. Your voice carries the key to unlock not only your own future, but the future of those connected to you. Use it with authority, with faith, with relentless conviction, because everything around you is waiting to respond to the sound that comes out of you. There are moments in life when everything around you seems to conspire to keep you quiet. Moments when rejection stings so deeply that you feel unworthy of being heard. Moments when failure whispers that your words no longer matter. Moments when people look at you as if your contribution has no value. Yet it is in those very moments that the true power of your voice must be remembered. It is not the applause of others that gives your voice authority. It is the strength of the conviction inside of you. Your voice was not placed within you for decoration. It was placed to disrupt darkness, to confront lies, to announce your purpose in the face of resistance. Every person has been given a sound, and no two voices carry the same frequency. That uniqueness is not by mistake. It is by divine design. What you release into the atmosphere cannot be duplicated by another. When you choose to withhold your sound, the world is robbed of a gift that cannot be replaced. You may think your words are small, your perspective limited, your testimony insignificant, but you do not know who is waiting on the strength you are holding back. The phrase you consider ordinary may be the lifeline to someone drowning in despair. The sentence you almost did not share may be the spark that ignites faith in someone else. Silence is not harmless. Silence is costly, and it robs both you and others of transformation. Voices create movements. It is the courage of one person who speaks that inspires another to rise, and then another, until an entire generation shifts. History has never been moved by those who stayed silent, but by those who dared to open their mouths. The enemy of your soul knows this, which is why he works overtime to muzzle you with fear, to choke you with intimidation, to drown you with shame. If you believe the lie that your voice does not matter, you will live beneath your calling, watching life pass by, while destiny waits impatiently for you to break the silence. You do not need the validation of a crowd to speak. You do not need a platform, a microphone, or a stage. Your power is not limited to where you stand. It is carried within the sound you release. Speak in your home until peace returns. Speak in your workplace until excellence is restored. Speak in your relationships until love is revived. Speak into your own reflection until you recognize your worth again. Your voice is the steering wheel of your life, and where you direct it with words, your path will follow. Words are not merely sounds, they are seeds. Every declaration you make plants something into the soil of your future. If you plant despair, despair will grow. If you plant courage, courage will blossom. If you plant hope, hope will multiply. The harvest of tomorrow is being shaped by the sound of today. That is why you cannot afford to waste your voice repeating fear, doubt, and defeat. You must train your lips to speak what you believe even before you see it. To speak what you hope even before it manifests. To speak what you know is within you even when the world around you contradicts it. When you begin to recognize the weight of your own sound, you understand that your voice is not just a tool for communication. It is an instrument of creation, an engine of change, a weapon against despair. Too many have been convinced that their silence is safety, that if they do not speak, they cannot be judged. If they do not declare, they cannot be opposed. If they do not raise their voice, they will not draw attention. But the truth is silence does not protect you. Silence erodes you. Silence leaves you vulnerable to the voices that are louder, but not always wiser. When you refuse to speak, you surrender authority to those who may not carry your values, your vision, or your truth. Your silence gives power to noise that was never meant to dominate the room, and little by little your destiny shrinks beneath the weight of words never spoken. Your voice is more than volume, it is the sound of identity. It carries your story, your scars, your resilience, your perspective, and your faith. When you open your mouth, you are not just speaking words, you are releasing history, you are shaping tomorrow, you are reminding the world that you are here and you matter. Too often people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect platform, the perfect level of confidence before they dare to speak, but perfection never arrives. The courage to use your voice is not found in waiting for fear to disappear, but in opening your mouth even while your knees tremble. The act of speaking itself is what strengthens you. The act of releasing sound is what breaks the chain of intimidation that has held you down. You must be careful what you allow your voice to echo, because every word has consequences. Words create climates in families. Words shift the culture of organizations. Words can lift a soul or crush it. Words can build bridges or burn them down. You cannot afford to be careless with the sound you carry. If all you speak is negativity, you poison your own atmosphere. If all you release is bitterness, you chain yourself to the pain of yesterday. But if you learn to speak hope when it is dark, faith when it is heavy, encouragement when it is lonely, then your voice becomes a light guiding both you and others through shadows. There are generations waiting to hear what you have to say. Your children need your sound to shape their confidence. Your friends need your voice to remind them of their worth. Your community needs your voice to confront injustice. Your own soul needs your sound to remind you that you are stronger than you thought. Never underestimate the impact of a single voice. A single cry can shift the atmosphere in a room. A single word can change the direction of a life. A single declaration can open doors that had been locked for years. When you begin to see your voice as an assignment and not just an option, you realize silence is not neutral. Silence is surrender, and surrender to fear means forfeiting the future that could have been unlocked by the courage of your words. Your voice carries authority not just for yourself, but for those connected to you. And every time you open your mouth with faith, you release a ripple that touches more than you may ever know. There comes a point when you must realize that your voice is not only for speaking about where you have been, but also for declaring where you are going. Too many people spend their days rehearsing their pain, repeating their disappointments, reliving the betrayals and failures of the past until the sound of yesterday drowns out the possibility of tomorrow. What you say repeatedly becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you live. That is why your voice must be trained to declare vision instead of replaying wounds, to announce purpose instead of magnifying problems, to call out destiny instead of echoing defeat. Your future is waiting for you to give it sound, and until you speak it, it will remain locked up inside of you. Your voice has the ability to shift what you see by shaping what you say. If you constantly declare that you cannot, you will never see how you can. If you continually speak that things will not change, you will blind yourself to the opportunities that were already placed around you. But when you start speaking in alignment with faith, doors begin to reveal themselves, ideas begin to awaken, and strength begins to rise where weakness once lived. The tongue does not just describe reality, it constructs it. Every time you open your mouth, you are building something, and you must decide whether you are building a prison of doubt or a pathway of possibility. There will be opposition to your voice, and sometimes the loudest resistance will come from within. Insecurities will rise and whisper that you are not qualified to speak, that others have more authority, that nobody is listening. Doubt will try to silence you before you even release a word. Fear will attempt to convince you that if you speak boldly, you will only face ridicule. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is using your voice in spite of it. The world does not need another silent soul hiding behind excuses. The world needs the authenticity of your sound. Do not underestimate the spiritual weight of what you speak. Words carry energy that moves beyond the moment. Speak encouragement and watch how hearts lift around you. Speak determination and watch how doors that looked locked begin to respond. Speak life into dead situations and watch them resurrect with possibility. Even when circumstances seem resistant, your voice can pierce through the heaviness like light breaking through the night. It is not always instant, but persistence in declaring what is true will eventually shift what is false. Every great movement, every transformation, every personal breakthrough begins with sound. A cry, a declaration, a refusal to stay silent. Your own breakthrough will not come through silence, but through the courage to speak what you believe and to keep speaking it until reality bends to match the conviction inside of you. This is why you cannot dismiss your voice as ordinary. It is extraordinary, it is unique, and it was given to you with intention. The question is not whether your voice has power. The question is whether you will dare to use it with conviction, with clarity, and with the unshakable belief that what you release can change not only your world, but the world of those who hear it. There are times when the pressure of life makes you feel as though keeping silent is easier than confronting what needs to be spoken, as though swallowing your truth is safer than standing firm in it, as though staying quiet will somehow protect you from the backlash of others who may not understand. But the danger of silence is that it slowly steals your strength. When you refuse to release what is inside of you, you begin to carry weight that was never meant to stay locked in your chest. Your voice is not simply for expression, it is for release. It frees the heart, it clears the mind, it sets the soul in motion. Holding back what should be spoken does not shield you, it suffocates you. Your voice is tied to your identity, and the more you hide it, the more disconnected you become from who you truly are. Every word you speak that reflects your purpose aligns you more closely with the path you were created to walk. Every declaration of faith strengthens your foundation and steadies your steps. To silence yourself is to strip yourself of the very compass designed to guide you through seasons of uncertainty. It is not only your thoughts that shape you, but also the words you dare to release into the atmosphere. You cannot afford to be careless with your sound, because every utterance is a seed, and seeds never remain as they are. They multiply, they grow, they shape environments. Words can produce harvests of hope or fields of despair, gardens of peace or landscapes of bitterness. What you say about yourself matters. What you say about others matters. What you say about your future matters. Speak as though every word carries weight, because it does. There will always be forces attempting to silence you, sometimes external critics, sometimes internal insecurities, sometimes circumstances that leave you feeling small. Yet the more resistance you face, the greater the proof of the significance of your sound. If your voice were not powerful, it would not be targeted. If your words did not carry weight, there would be no effort to suppress them. Resistance is evidence of value, and the louder the opposition, the more determined you must be to release your truth. Your voice has the ability to influence atmospheres you may never even see. A word spoken in one room can echo in another. A truth released in one generation can empower the next. A declaration made in faith today can shift realities for years to come. You never fully know the reach of your own sound, but you must trust that it carries further than you imagine. Your responsibility is not to measure its impact, but to ensure it is released. Whether through encouragement, prayer, teaching, testimony, or simply speaking life into someone who has forgotten their own worth, your voice is meant to be used. The silence that once held you back cannot continue to govern your future, because everything you were created to become is waiting for the moment you choose to open your mouth and let your sound be heard.